Welcome to Paranormal Perspective, starring John Lorden and Christy Arnhart. Okay, we ready?
It was incredible. You got your tinfoil hat on?
I do. I'm ready for whatever you're going to throw at me.
Oh, I laughed so hard. I've got tears in my eyes. Oh, I don't know who that child is.
There's a ghost behind you. Look out, there's a ghost.
I don't know who that child is. She's just a neighbor kid that wandered in. All right,
this is episode 1 of the Christy Arnhart versus Science show, says Mike.
It's going to be incredible, guys.
Okay.
Got this all written up. I got some pictures. Some cases will be more persuasive than others, but I started with a classic.
Okay.
You know, I had been talking about the San Pedro haunting, and Dr. Barry Taff was the one who handled that investigation. Well, the one that I'm covering today, the Doris Bither haunting, which is known as the entity haunting, was worked by him as well.
Okay.
Do you know anything about the entity haunting, John?
Is it the one that they made the movie The Entity about?
Yeah, but the movies, they took a lot of liberties with it.
Okay. That's all I know about it, is the movie, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Now, you said I had a minute to read my blurb, right?
Yeah.
Are you timing me?
No. Nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I timed it down. I was like, I don't know what he's going to have me doing. So I timed it down to a minute exactly, like a TikTok.
Okay. I'll give you extra
All
points.
right.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So here we go.
Okay.
Doris Bither was repeatedly plagued by 3 poltergeists, and many of these events were witnessed by doctoral researchers from the University of California. In August of 1974, Dr. Barry Taff, a world-renowned parapsychologist, came into contact with a woman named Doris Bither. She said that her house was haunted and she needed help, and he agreed to help her. Doris was the victim of an abusive childhood, and to that day was demonstrating symptoms of a deep-seated trauma. This information made him even more skeptical about the haunting. He's like, oh no, maybe this is just in her head. Now, Doris was a single mother, and she lived in her home with her adolescent daughter and her 3 sons. I think the oldest might have been 16. Mm-hmm. The children told Dr. Taff about an entity that they called Mr. Who's-It. Mr. Who's-It was harmless. It was basically an old man that they would see wandering around the house. Doris said that there were 3 entities attached to her, 2 smaller ones, and they would hold her down while the larger entity attacked her. Now, these attacks left marks on her body, including bruises on her inner thighs and on her throat. She was seen by researchers being thrown. I know we couldn't fake that, but just to let you know, she was seen doing that. Mm-hmm. One night, Doris provoked the entity into showing itself. Now, lights appeared to shoot through the room, arching in midair. Many were caught on film, and all of this was witnessed by the researchers from UCLA. There was about 20 of them, I think.
Okay.
In 2009, after which Doris ended up passing away, I don't remember the exact date, but it wasn't anything recent. She died when she was 58. Now, in 2009, Ghost Theory conducted an interview with her middle son, and he corroborated a lot of the information that was put into the book and that they saw that night. Okay. Later on, his other siblings were talked to, and they verified a lot of it too.
Okay. That's it?
Now, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. I think with all these kids in the house and a mother who was, she was abused badly throughout her life. Mm-hmm. And I think that instability and the ages of her children, 2 of them were going into puberty, 2 of them were younger. That tends to draw all this poltergeist energy together. And I think that's what this was. I don't really think that it was an entity per se, as so much as the energy she had within herself, maybe the energy that was in the house that just crashed together.
I think you're onto something with that, but I think it could come out in a different way. I think that type of trauma can certainly be shared with your family. Mm-hmm. I know whenever I get together with my mom and my aunt on her side, if the 2 of them are together, like they just love to bring out the old trauma stories, and they just relive it over and over and over. So I do think there's something to that. I don't know if it connects to some type of spiritual, paranormal thing for me. Outside of, I know you're saying that, you know, we've got some experts that are there. UCLA, if it's UCLA or is it a UC California? Because there's kind of two different. Do you know if it's?
I'm not
if it's
sure.
UCLA?
They listed it as just UCLA.
There's a lot of people that smoke weed in California. I just
No. Come on, John.
There's a lot of people, especially in college, that do smoke weed. In terms of the pictures you sent, should we look at these? Is there some proof? I don't know what they are, so.
Absolutely. Pull them up and I'll show you what they are.
Let's go ahead and take a look at these pictures and see if we can make some more sense of it.
This first picture is in Doris's house. That's Doris sitting on her bed.
Okay.
These are the researchers and whatnot that are around her. You can see some of them.
Hold on. Is this a bong?
It is not.
Is this a bong right here, Christy?
It is not a bong.
Are you sure? What is this?
You know, I don't know that they hadn't toked up before this, but I do not feel that it made them hallucinate or these pictures to turn out like they did.
I'm going to just put up a poll real quick.
Oh my God.
I'm just real quick. Is that a bong? Let's see what everyone thinks.
Probably a bottle of tab with a straw.
Okay. What else is going on in this photo?
Well, as you can see, she's sitting there and she's telling the researchers that the entity's in there, that it's bothering her. This arc of light that appeared above her, when they took the picture, you can tell it's not something that's reflected because it doesn't go into the crease of the wall. It's something that appeared directly above her head.
Yes, or could be something on the lens.
Well, you know, it could be.
Possibly.
I guess I can't, you know, they did the same thing with these pictures they did with all of them. They looked to see if they were tampered with, if the negatives were tampered with. And trust me, there were a ton of pictures from this haunting that did not get used at all because they handled the film inappropriately. They overexposed things. So the ones that did turn out, they had those looked at and they say they weren't faked. Okay.
Let's check in on the poll real quick. 46% say yes, it is a bong. 56% say no. We're going to go ahead and end it. I don't think it's a bong. I think upon further review, we actually do have a camera that's being held here in this person's hand, or maybe a recording device of some kind. Just see the way their index finger is on top of like where you would have a button. But this, I don't quite get what this item is back here. I know some cameras back then, they had these big things on top for the flash. And sometimes they would have square shapes to them. This could, I guess, be one of those. Do you remember those like single-use flashes where it was a big plastic square and it would like fire through the order and you had to turn it after that to get the other side to fire through? Maybe something like that. The image, this ring to me, the only reason why I'm really concerned about it is because knowing what lenses are like, I mean, they're round in shape, and depending on the quality of the camera, if it wasn't a glass lens exactly, maybe it was a type of plastic lens or something like that. Like they can pick up light in pretty bizarre ways. Also, I'm not seeing. We're only seeing one side of the room, admittedly, but I'm not seeing any lamps here. So I'm thinking there's a possibility there's actually a light in the ceiling right in the middle, right above this. And that light could be hitting the lens to cause that shape.
Pull up the next picture.
Okay.
Now, well, that wasn't the one I was thinking of.
Okay. Here you go.
There we go. There's no light above her.
Yeah. This does. Is this a flash can or something over here? I don't know. But this is the same angle. So it's someone standing on that same side.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. You can always find down-to-earth explanations for this stuff. The whole point is that you open yourself up to the possibility of more.
Now, I'm just curious. In the movie that I was talking about, the woman was actually being sexually assaulted. Is any of that true?
Yeah.
Really? That's part of this story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She claimed that the largest entity would sexually assault her. And she did display, like I said, the bruising around her thighs and around her neck. When she was looked at by doctors, they said, that type of injury is indicative of a rape. But she also at one point claimed she was pregnant with the ghost's baby. Okay. So I decided to leave that portion out.
Yeah.
Because we all know that didn't happen. I mean, she does have mental illnesses, so.
Well, and that is pointing to another interesting thing. Like if we know that there's an aspect of that can't be true, probably. Mm-hmm. She probably didn't get impregnated by an entity, right?
No.
She might have wound up pregnant, but obviously there was probably a different reason for that.
They
Christy,
checked her out.
can you explain to the audience how that happens? How does a woman get pregnant?
By a ghost? I don't believe they can. My belief goes quite a ways, but that is too far even for me.
Okay, so we're hearing something that we know is some type of story from her. I'm also noticing this almost looks like if you've ever been in a black box theater or something like that. I mean, she has an audience. She's almost on stage in this. So it just makes me wonder about her personality and trying to seek this type of attention and pull it towards her when we do hear that there's a story that maybe, part of her story isn't just difficult to validate. It's probably not true. But the ring, honestly, I am curious about it. I'm curious why that ring would show up. This looks like a different camera to me. And I know some people are also asking, why are these photos black and white? It's a good question.
Well, and I know that they used all kinds of different cameras in doing this. The paranormal team, they had 2 specific cameras that they were using. And then there were other people there that had their own cameras. Mm-hmm. And you can't pin all of what you want to believe on these photos. There was a large audience that witnessed sounds, noises, objects flying around the room. I know that can all be faked.
Yeah.
But this woman, they described the family as living in squalor. I mean, everything was trashy. It was not a good environment to be in.
So they would be someone that could benefit from a book deal, a movie deal, which actually does happen in this case.
They do make the book and the movie.
Yeah, her story does get picked up. I mean, she makes some money on this. What's this picture, Christy?
Are you sure? Are you sure she made money on it? I don't know. I need to look that up and see because...
yeah, I mean, you have to sell... Typically, you have to sell the rights to your story for that kind of stuff to go. But I don't know, because if she's claiming it's true, then you can't really copyright that, but... I don't know.
You look at the San Pedro haunting, they made the documentary, they've written books about it. She's not made a dime.
Yeah, but that's the entity is like, it's supposed to be a retelling like of her experience. Mm-hmm. Like that's part of the film. It's got that label at the start, this is based on a true story.
Loosely.
For them to be able to say that, I think they would have had to make some payment. There would be some type of rights payment to happen there. But what is this picture of?
That is the only picture of Doris Bither.
Oh, this is Doris. Okay.
That's one of the few. Now, the scratch that's on the picture itself happened when the Polaroid was ejected. So that doesn't have anything to do with the haunting. But I thought it was interesting because that's like, the only picture I can find her anywhere.
Okay. Well, I think we're putting it to the audience at this point. I'm skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there was something to be gained here in terms of attention. All of a sudden, she's got all these people around her. We know that it does turn into some type of deal that winds up with a major motion picture. Barbara Hershey, I think, wound up playing the role, if I remember correctly. What do you guys think?
Well, and the sad ending to this, if she did make any money, it did nothing to better their lives. And she refused to get any kind of help for any of her addiction problems, any of her trauma.
Mm-hmm. Well, just so you guys know, I did not review this story at all. This is the first time I'm hearing it from Christy, just going off the top of my head. But Mike says Team John, so I'm pretty sure that means I'm going to win.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at the poll.
Oh, we're running the poll. Oh, maybe I am going to win. The question is this story real or not? Up to you guys. But I want to say, Christy, I really appreciate your honesty about this. I appreciate the research you pulled into this. Thank you for pulling some photos up, making that part of it. And it's interesting to me, honestly, that they would even make this claim about these scratches in this photo. Because why not say that the entity did that? It's kind of weird,
I mean,
right?
Does that not lead a little credence to their honesty?
Maybe. I mean,
for these people, they experienced it.
I've seen a lot of Polaroids in my life. I've never had a Polaroid that came out and got scratched on the ejection. Like, quite honestly, that story sounds fishy to me. But I just don't know why you wouldn't say, oh, this was a picture that was taken of her, and it was perfectly fine until she was attacked one day, and then she picked up the picture and noticed that it was like a demon had scratched it across. You know, like you really could have turned that into something. And they didn't, which I find interesting also. All right, we're closing up the poll. And Christy, are you ready for the results?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
18% say it was real.
Thank you, guys.
81% say no. Not real.
So we agree to disagree.
Hoax. That's what they say.
We just agree to disagree. That's what we're saying, right?
No, hoax. Hoax.
Oh, hoax. I thought, for sure it was agree to disagree because, the numbers are so close.
Now I'm going to have to send this hat to you also. I still need to send your trophy to you too, by the way. So
I know I meant to ask about that.
Yeah, I think you should have to wear the hat for the next episode now because you didn't win this one. I don't know about you guys. That doesn't
mean I won't get the next one, guys.
That's true. I don't know about you guys, but I like this format. You going to keep doing this?
Oh, yeah. Let's
I hope so.
Because I got all kinds of things lined up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Amazing. How about claps for Christy, everyone? Throwing a new show your way like that on 1 week's notice? Come on. There we go. Yeah. Interesting conversation going on in the audience about this. They're saying there's a distinction. They don't think it's necessarily a hoax. And I think that's a cool distinction to make. As a matter of fact, I think we should formalize the poll a little better to be like a stronger explanation of what happened there. Because to their point, this might be trauma-induced, something that she's going through. Her perspective really is that is occurring. And that wouldn't necessarily be a hoax. I still don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, where I am on that line, but it is an important distinction. And I appreciate you guys for thinking like that.
Yes, very much.
Let's check in with everything okay over there?
I don't know. What's going on back behind me?
I don't know. It's like Zoom's freaking out about your screen or something. Yeah.
Or am I getting sucked into another dimension?
I didn't want to tell you, but I saw 4 rings behind you. Rings of light.
Did they have a reflection on the screen itself? Were they curved in any way?
One of them was curved. Definitely one of them was curved. Jacob, what'd you think of Christy? Jacob? No. We're not even close to Christmas, buddy. You got a long time to wait. And hopefully you're good enough this year that you'll get to open that. Now go put it back in the closet